Welcome to the Keeping Up Appearances podcast. I'm Callum Murray and with me is
Bob Cole,
Shaun O'Hara,
and Michael Tosh.
It's Callum, what's he going to do? Running! Jackson running! Oh, yes!
So unfortunately we're going to have to relive the Aston Villa-Everton game, which I don't think any of us are too excited to do. We've probably wiped it from our memories, but any post-match thoughts?
I went into it mildly optimistic with the team news. Then once the game started, I just kind of thought, how long is Calvert-Lewin going to last? Is it going to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? Then Villa started scoring, so it changed from, is Calvert-Lewin going to stay on the pitch, to, is it going to be 6-0 at half time? So the optimism died quite quickly. So I think the only positive I took from the game really was that it was a new injury for Calvert-Lewin. It wasn't his hamstring going again. It's a fresh one that hopefully won't keep him out for too long. But I was quite happy with how we performed in the first game of the season. Just conceded a free goal and didn't score on ourselves out of all the chances, but we were just absolutely dire.
I think all over the pitch. I think last week I ended the preview sort of saying, away from home with the dice, I felt we'd be quite solid, so completely wrong about that one. I think just from start, they just weren't there. I think the first goal sort of sums it all up. Garner Gay letting, can't remember who it was in the middle for them, run across the pitch to someone running Ashley Young, and then John McGinn stood in the box, 5 or 6 Everton players around him, and he's just stood by himself pretty much in the 6-yard box. It was just that set the tone, really. I think none of us really had Everton in the thoughts of relegation this year. I think for me now that sort of defeat and that performance has made me really, really worried.
Yeah, I think the performance is more worrying than the defeat. I think the nature we got beat was not great. I thought, quietly confident going into the game, as Bob said, you see Calvert-Lewin starting and then you think, oh, maybe there's something in this for us. And again, we've missed, for however long, a striker will be going to try and do stuff in the box and challenging keepers and challenging defenders, and he goes and does it and fractures his cheekbone, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I think overall it's probably the worst performance I've seen Everton for a long time. I think probably since the game against Brighton at home last season. It's rare, I think, that you come out of a game without any positives at all, but I just can't see any from that game on Sunday. But the good thing is it's a marathon, not a sprint, so there's always another chance in football.
Marathons are really hard,
Yeah, but you've got time to peg it back. So I think
56 more games left.
Yeah, I still think we'll be all right. Maybe just by the fact that there'll probably be 3 worse teams, but they need to make change. They need to do it quickly.
We're in this position now where the game on Saturday against Wolves is pretty much must win. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why we suddenly think, or why we think that we can just, we don't need to sign our players before then. It's so frustrating that when we know now we're going to do our business the last day, when we could be set bottom of the league with no points again, like last year. And it's just frustrating, if you'd have said, when we get to the end of the season, we're in the chase, like last year, we knew we had Bournemouth at home to come, we knew we had Wolves away, we thought, we're not going to get points. If this was at the end of the season, Fulham at home, Wolves at home, they'd be 2 games, you say, you have to get 6 points from them. And we're in a position where we could have a stronger team for that, and we're just not doing anything about it. Even this week, link with Che Adams, not his biggest fan, but I think he improves us. We're going to wait and sign him until after the game, aren't we? There's no way we're going to have him for Saturday. They've been interested all week. They're close to agreeing a deal. Just get the deal done and see if we can start with it. And that's a frustrating thing because, as I say, we just look, I can't see us win on Saturday the way with that team. I can't.
Do we not think, though, in terms of Sean Dyche, I just don't, do the players know what he's doing? Because I certainly don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he knows what he's doing. I think, from my point of view, you see the formation he's playing. I think he tries to keep up with modern footy, and then tries to play formations that City do, your 4-2-3-1s, and he's just got the core, just running around like a headless chicken. Doesn't know where he's meant to be. Then Calvert-Lewin doesn't know what he's meant to be doing. James Garner, I think he was a fault for a lot of the structural problems at the weekend. Exactly, that's what I mean. But you'd expect him. He's definitely a good player, and he's playing out of position. Patterson's getting just left out to dry because he hasn't got any cover. I just don't know. And then you're getting players in, for example, Che Adams. What thoughts gone into that other than he's scored in the Premier League before. There's just no like
at least 3 times.
Well, yeah, I think he got to get 5 last year. Like, I'm not turning my nose up at him, but there's just no kind of like.
I fear that signing's going to be Neil Maupay again. It just stinks of that deal again, getting someone in who scored a couple of goals in the Premier League for a similar amount of money. At the game when Calvert-Lewin initially went down and Maupay started warming up, and I was watching, I was like, started cursing. And then Banjuma came on, so I don't really know whether he had that thought in his head. He might have seen the reaction to fans where Maupay was warming up. So I can't flatten them.
I just think the thing is, unfortunately it's where we're at, and it looks like that's the only players we can sign. I think there's been rumours today of maybe Lukaku being contacted. I think he's training with the under-21s at Chelsea to maybe get him in on loan, but
wages will be ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to come to some sort of agreement, and there's no way we'd be able to afford his full wages. But I don't know, the worry is that, as you say, not getting signings done, and then the longer this period goes on, no one's going to want to come.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like a worry that the longer you're rubbish, no one's going to want to come.
I mean,
so
I think it's telling that like Nonto's back training with Leeds, isn't he? I know that's probably not his choice, but
yeah.
If I were looking at Everton at the weekend,
but Leeds told us a month ago that they didn't want to sell him, and we've caught him for a month. And
we told us the price, and we can either reach the price or we can't.
What have we? So have we been looking at someone else over the last month or not? Is it all back to square one? I don't know. I just said that the players know what to do, and I think the problem is that you've got 3 midfielders who are not very good on the ball. They're not footballers and runners.
Yeah.
Well, again,
we just run around like this.
And again, you watch like the odd occasion. I would go back to it. You know, when he came on against Villa last year on his debut, the goal he made for us, he just picked the ball up and ran. A bit like, you know, Yaya Toure, you've seen a couple of Monday nights for Wolves when they played Man United, they had that Cunha in the middle.
Yeah,
he just picked it up and ran. You think, why doesn't Onana do that? He just does nothing when he gets it, he plays dead safe. And again, you get a lot of people turning on the likes of Michael Keane and people like that, and don't get me wrong, he deserves it. But, this lad is 40 million, he'll be talking about moves to Man United at some point this year or whatever, and he's just...
Michael Keane was, 25-30 million, and he's been at Everton for the best part of a decade now. He's been here a long time, and he's been awful for 90% of that. Like, he's got a couple of screamers, and that's been it, and he's kind of represents what's been wrong with Everton since Mashiri came in, that we can't get rid of the deadwood.
See, it's their stats that since Dyche has been here, when Keane and Tarkowski have played together, we've conceded an average of 2.5 goals a game or something like that. When there's another pair and just any other pair, it's less. I think it's about 1.3 or something like that. Might be wrong. That's it.
I do think as well, though, have you seen like that, the fourth one back when Keane, obviously Ashley Young gives Keane that suicidal throw, and then
the one player you don't want to give that to was
Michael Keane.
But
it is what it is in that situation, and everyone knows what he should have done. But when that happens, they go through on goal, you just look at his body language and his head's down, and you think if that's like Tarkowski or even like Yerry Mina, Conor Cody, they'd absolutely they'd be all over Young there, as in like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
His head he's just got no confidence, and I just think he can't be doing anything in training to think he deserves a place. Even his mental health, everything must be low. I don't understand how he keeps getting put into these positions where he's just going to get leathered every week.
It's a nervous wrecking, but I don't know why last season, when we needed to win for those last few games, he took him out the team and put Yerry Mina in, but yeah, he just threw him back in now. It makes no sense. If he wasn't good enough for that, I don't know why he's in it now, to be honest.
I think what he does, I've been a bit of a Keane defender at times, where you can see at times he's a bit on foot. When he's got the ball, he can play good passes, and obviously he's a threat from corners. That's the only thing I can think. And he's obviously experienced at that level, but as I say, he's had too many chances. But it's not going to change. He might take him off the team now. We know as soon as an injury, he's going to come back in.
Yeah. So
it's like, again, we haven't got money to sign people. We're saying probably not going to spend it now on another centre back. Who's better than Michael Keane? Yeah, but again, I've been going back to what Shaun said about Dyche and the system. That's what you sort of thought. You thought when we were getting Dyche, there was probably no one who was like, oh my God, that great too. Got Shaun Dyche, but you thought you weren't going to get beat 4-0 like that to Villa, because Villa weren't even good the other day. Villa are a decent side, we know that. They actually weren't good. They didn't have to be good.
Yeah.
That was the thing with Dyche, and what everyone is saying about Everton staying up is that it'll be because Dyche will get them sorted out. They'll be solid. They'll beat the odd team at home. They'll get points away from home. I know it could just be a blip. You hope it is, but from what you've seen in the past 2 years, I don't think there's. I think as Bob says, the good performance against Fulham is probably more the blip. That's more the outlier.
I was going to say, I think he's also his depth, to be honest. I just don't think he's not a modern football manager, definitely not a modern Premier League manager. I think he's also his depth. I just don't think he gets today's game, maybe. It's a shame. He was obviously there to tighten it up and make it, stronger, more resilient or whatever. Onwards and upwards, I suppose.
Onwards and downwards.
Didn't even mention us. They just won 4-0, didn't even get a mention.
Right then, should we pick our next match? These are the rules. We select 3 matches from this week's fixtures, which are entered into the Wheel of Fortune. This will randomly select our featured game. This match will be the focus of our discussions, predictions, and most importantly, our game of keeping up appearances. Once our fixture has been chosen, we'll use an online generator to provide a target number for our game. For us, this is anything between 50 and 450. Our job then is to think of a player who's made that many appearances for either of our selected teams. Whoever's closest wins. Each week, 4 points will go to the closest person, 3 points for second place, 2 points will go to third place, and the person who's furthest away gets 1. These points will be accumulated over the whole season, and we'll update our league table each week.
Okay then, so now time to pick this week's game we're going to preview. So the 3 matches this week are Man United, Nottingham Forest, Arsenal, Fulham, and Sheffield United, Man City. Spin the wheel. And it's landed on Man United, Forest. Okay then, any thoughts?
I think it's quite a big game. It's quite like 2 historic names. I can't see past Man United winning, to be fair, but maybe not Forest might.
Nottingham Forest.
Maybe Nottingham Forest.
I know a few Forest fans would have a go for that.
Wind up. Maybe Nottingham Forest might cause a bit of a surprise.
Who's at home?
Manchester United.
Oh, right, okay. I would have thought if it was at Notts Forest,
Nottingham
they would have
Forest.
had more luck because they were really good at home last year, weren't they? But I can't say anything other than Man United win.
I think United are absolutely dreadful though.
I do, I was going to say the same.
I think it's the type of game now that United would expect them to win anything or they bounce back. But I watched Forest on Friday night and I watched a bit of them the week before against Arsenal and they were quite good. They're very organised, they're good on the counter-attack and United struggled with that against Wolves. I suspect United will win just as the type of game that United win when they need one at home. They've got a nice easy game in theory. But I think if Forest gets set up, if United score early, it's probably game over. I think the longer Forest can keep them. I just thought Man United was so bad against Tottenham. I couldn't believe it. Tottenham were good, but Man United just look all over the place. And you talked about before about Dyche not having a system. They just seem to have no system, trying to cram Fernandes, Casemiro, Mount in the same midfield. But yeah, I probably would still go for United win, but yeah, I think it might be not as easy as suggested.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I've not seen much of Forest this season. Seen a bit of United, not overly impressed. And I think, if I'm totally honest, I think of a lot of people's predictions again for United might just be, as they always are, United will win. Did we all have United in our top 4?
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
Did you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so four of us had United in the top 4, and if I said why, I don't think any of them would be able to give me a solid reason of why they finished before. It's just something we just think, yeah, they will. I think the last 2 games, they've shown nothing against Wolves. They were lucky to come away with a win. And then Tottenham, they were.
You wonder if Mount's injured, isn't he? So after this match, you wonder if they might be able to go back to the sort of system they had last year. They expect Eriksen to come back in. Eriksen seemed to work up something with Casemiro, so they might get back. So I thought last year they looked like they were progressing under Ten Hag a bit. They had like a spell of results, didn't they? And when they won the cup, they sort of in the league were pushing up. There was one time, about February time, people were saying they could potentially challenge City at one point. But just like you, I think they've been really poor starting so far. Does anyone want to Give a prediction.
Go on, I'll go first. I think Forest will score. I think I'll go with a 3-1 Manchester United.
Bob?
I'll go Man United 2, not Forest 0.
I think I'm going to go a bit closer. 2-1 I'm going to go to Manchester United.
I'll be honest, I'm struggling. I don't think United have a goal threat, really. I know that Højlund is apparently travelling with them. But if they'll get a game, it's unlikely. But the front three just don't seem to be working. They don't seem to be creating chances. I think Anthony and Garnacho have had a lot of criticism. Mm-hmm. Rashford, again, it's not his best position, is it, through the middle?
I don't even know.
I think generally the United fans prefer him off the left.
Rashford said that as well.
Oh, really?
Rashford's not happy playing it. I think Bruno creates all their threats. I think he's great, but without him, they're just a bit lost.
But I'll go, you know what, I'll go for a bit of a change. I'll go 1-1.
Fair play. Okay, then just to recap, we've got Callum saying a 3-1 win to Man United, Bob 2-0, myself 2-1, all in favour of United, and Shaun with a 1-1 draw.
Right, so now it's time to generate our number for the Keeping Up Appearances game. And it is 380. So 380 appearances is what we've got to guess. Potentially a very tough one.
Yeah, Tosh has got his head in his hands here.
I think I know it.
Right, bit of thinking time for us. Same for you if you're playing at home. And we'll be back when we've got our answers.
You're untenable.
Right, thinking time's over. We've all got our answers. What we are going to do though is slightly change things from last week. So rather than a player then an answer, we're going to say all of our players and then save the answers to the end, just to keep the suspense up a little bit. Right, who's going first?
I'll start. I've gone straight up with Patrice Evra. Wait, did you going to go?
I wasn't, so that's fine.
For you as well? No, for God's sake.
That's fine.
I've got another one. And you went first.
I've got the one as well.
You went first.
Well, so, alright. So, I'm going to go for Patrice Evra. Again, bigger numbers, hard to think, but I know he joined around the time when he won that league with Fergie around 2005, 2006, so she left about probably 2013, around the time Ferguson left. 7-8 years of playing, 30 odd games, 40 games. He had a lot of European runs. Again, maybe a million miles away, but that was my guess. I was struggling for Forest players. I was thinking someone, they only could think of like obvious ones like Stuart Pearce and people like that. But
I reckon he probably made double that number of appearances.
760.
Yeah, I reckon it was daft.
I reckon it wasn't.
Check that
Good. That's the real quiz.
I bet it's close to 380. It is 760.
Right. I had a shocker last week. Mine was a player who I think signed in like 96 maybe after the Euros, I think, and then left in about 2003. Peter Schmeichel.
Signed a lot earlier than that.
Did he? Was it not after the...
The Euros was in 92.
92. 11 years.
That's 4 years of it.
11 years.
No, to be fair, he left in 99 or 2000.
I think
was
it
it
was
2003?
No, he left not long after they won the European Cup, the treble. Might have been his last
Did he
game.
go straight? Was it Villa then City?
No, it's Sporting Lisbon.
Oh, did he? Oh, fair enough. This might be on then, even though I'm completely wrong.
He'll play, though, the good thing with the goalkeeper is, he's playing pretty much every game.
That's what I mean. Again, yeah, it was a stab in the dark, but I'll go.
I think the timeline's probably pretty...
Unless you're Roy Carroll.
I'm going Schmeichel. That's mine.
I'm going to guess.
I'll keep with my theme of only picking players that have relation to Everton. I was originally going to go with Phil Neville, but I hate him too much, so I'm not going to say Phil Neville.
Bit harsh.
So I'm going to go with Ashley Young, because I know he had a surprisingly long United career, was club captain for a bit, played all over the place, so he just kind of slotted in. So he may surprise me, but I think this might be my worst answer.
I think it's a bad answer. And also, he's made a rough result back there saying everyone's got to have an Everton link as well. Yeah. It's going to be difficult anyway.
Cal?
Right, so I was going to say Evra as well, but my other guess was kind of along the goalkeeper route, like Shaun. I was kind of torn between a couple. I was kind of going with the idea that possibly he would have been there for 8 years or so, 8 or 9 years. I was thinking De Gea or Van der Sar. I think De Gea might have been there for longer than 8 years. So I'll take a punt on Van der Sar.
I think he joined probably around about 2005, didn't he? He left after they lost the final in 2011, so about 6 or 7, I reckon.
When did De Gea?
After Van der Sar.
I think De Gea was after Van der Sar.
I think when he lost the European Cup final in 2011, Van der Sar retired and they replaced him with De Gea.
Oh,
so you're potentially looking there, it's six seasons, maybe 7 of all competitions when United were in like the pomp and playing all, and he would have been playing all those games. So yeah, I'll go with Van der Sar.
So it's time now to check our results. One of us will check using transfermarket.com to keep it nice and fair, and then we'll see who's come out on top.
So the results are as follows. We've had a couple of very bad ones and a couple of very good ones. I mean, well, one superb one. In 4th place was Bob with Ashley Young, who had 261 appearances for Manchester United, so he was 119 out.
Get it?
In 3rd place was me with 266, and I was 114 out. In 2nd place was Shaun with 388 appearances for Schmeichel, so 18 out.
Very good.
That's great.
And leaves 1st place for Tosh, who potentially stole my answer. It was 379, was 1 out. Which is very, very unlucky. There's one game where Ever was injured and ruined the whole game for Tosh.
I thought he played that one.
Yeah. I know which one you mean. So that was 4th place Bob, 3rd place Callum, 2nd place Shaun, 1st place Tosh. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
If we have a quick look at our updated league table, we're unmoved in terms of positions. Callum's at the bottom with 5, Shaun's in 3rd with 7, Bob is in 2nd with 8, and Tosh still holding firm at the top with 12.
So it was another good week for Tosh in the Keeping Up Appearances game. We hope that you enjoyed the Manchester United and Nottingham Forest game on Saturday. Keep an eye out for our predictions, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Nailed it. Yeah, I see you nailed it.